Hi guys, today I am going to be doing my very much awaited by myself, if not by anybody else, my very much awaited video recapping my 1 month on Tirzepatide. So some of you may or may not be aware, but I am on the Tirzepatide. It is not a compounded Tirzepatide. I've had some people in my personal life ask me that question. They've asked me, are you on the compounded version of Tirzepatide? And the answer to that is no. It's not a med spa, but I don't really know any other way to categorize it because it is a medical weight loss office. So they offer lipotropic injections, which I also receive once a week when I get my Tirzepatide injection. Lipotropic injections are injections that have B6 and vitamin B12, along with some other really beneficial things that kind of help to aid in your metabolism and your digestion. They also have built-in fat burners, and it's just something that I feel really helps with my energy levels, especially because Tirzepatide can make me feel really fatigued, and these injections, they kind of combat that in a way. Aside from that, so it is a medical weight loss facility, but it's not medical weight loss. So the name of it is actually called Options Medical Weight Loss. They are here in Michigan that I know of. They have 3 locations here. I know they have other locations in other states. One of those states is Florida. Which is where they get their Tirzepatide from. So there is a pharmacy in Florida. It is called PQ Pharmacy. It is not a compounded pharmacy. And I know so many people are like, what do you mean? If it's not being produced by Eli Lilly and it's not Zepbound or Mounjaro, then it has to be compounded. That is not true. So just like if your doctor gives you a prescription for, I'm trying to think, if they give you a prescription for an allergy medication, like for Zyrtec or something, like something that's not over the counter, and you go to the pharmacy, they would give you a generic version of that prescription. It's the same thing. So it is pure Tirzepatide. It is the Tirzepatide medication. So you have to understand, and I think we all do at this point, Zepbound, Ozempic, Mounjaro, what have you, those are just names that Eli Lilly, the manufacturer, has assigned to these medications. So Ozempic is a semaglutide. Zepbound is a Tirzepatide. Eli Lilly assigning those name brand or the names to represent their brand, it just represents that Eli Lilly is the manufacturer of that brand, right? They have marketing and trademark on that name, so therefore other companies cannot use it. However, that doesn't mean that if you get something that isn't Zepbound or isn't Mounjaro, that it's compounded. That's not what that means. So I just want to make that clear because a lot of people have asked me questions and they said, oh, you're getting compounded, make sure you're being careful. No, this is FDA approved and FDA regulated. It's from PQ Pharmacy in Florida. I believe the city is Brookdale, but I'd have to double check that. However, it's not compounded Tirzepatide. It is the pure form of Tirzepatide. It just doesn't have a name brand attached to it because Eli Lilly is not the manufacturer. So with that said, I want to go ahead and go into my 1 month results. I started my Tirzepatide journey on April 8th of 2025, and I was going to, it's called Options Medical Weight Loss. At Options, I have a health coach. Her name is Kelsey. She's amazing. Every week I go and weigh in on a machine called the InBody. And the InBody actually measures much more than just the number you see on the scale, because the number you see on the scale is comprised of dry lean mass, skeletal muscle mass, your water weight, your body fat percentage. There's so many different things. Your visceral fat levels, it breaks it down to the T. It breaks down your right arm, your left arm, your trunk, which is your stomach, your legs. Like, it breaks it down. And every week I go in and I see Kelsey, I weigh in on the InBody. I go to talk to her. We talk about how my week went. We talk about, stress levels, because that can impact weight. We talk about, did I do any traveling? That can impact weight. We talk about my sleep, because she knows that I have a 1-year-old and my son still does not sleep through the night all the time. And then we talk about, what was your eating like? I use Weight Watchers to track all of my food. I have been using Weight Watchers since 2020 on and off. And I noticed that they have a GLP-1 feature, so you can turn it on to say, hey, I am taking a GLP-1, and the screen will look different. It won't look like your traditional counting points screen. It's going to count your protein, your water intake, and your fruit and vegetable intake, which I love. I do focus on points to an extent, but I don't really. I mainly focus on, because they do give you macros now. If those of you who don't know, Weight Watchers does provide you with macros, your calories, your fats, your carbohydrates, your proteins, and your fiber, which is fantastic. Kelsey and I have gone over a number that we think is going to be good for me to try and stick to on a daily basis. That number is 1,400 calories. For reference, I am 5'9". I'm like almost 5'10", but yeah, I'm tall. I'm a little over 5'9". And with my level of activity currently, she thinks 1,400 calories would be good. And I trust her opinion. She has certifications in health coaching, exercise science. She has her bachelor's in exercise science, so she's very knowledgeable. And yes, it is a lot lower than what the number I would get if I were to go to like calculator.net or my TDEE calculator, which is your total daily energy expenditure. And obviously you can go based off of your height, your weight, your gender, your age, all of those things, and it'll spit out numbers at you. So I currently am sticking between like 1,400 to 1,500 calories a day. And I also am trying to be very protein focused, because one thing on the Tirzepatide journey is you have to focus on your protein. You have to focus on protein, because if you don't, what could end up happening and will happen inevitably is you will lose some dry lean mass. So you will lose some muscle, and that's inevitable. Anytime you're losing weight, it's inevitable to lose muscle, especially if you have a lot of weight to lose. Like, some of that is inevitably going to come from muscle. However, it's important to note that you have to be aware of how many grams of protein you're taking in a day. So typically you want to take about 100 grams or more of protein in per day. And I'm downstairs on my couch, and somebody came downstairs and asked me to make them a strawberry shortcake. So anyways, so back to what I was saying. So you need to focus on protein. That is the primary macronutrient that you need to focus on when you're on a GLP-1, because it is inevitable that you're going to lose muscle during a weight loss journey. Because if you have a lot of weight to lose, like I do, and most people that are on a GLP-1 do have a lot of weight to lose, they are inevitably going to lose muscle. But a way to combat that loss and to kind of slow that loss down is to focus on protein. So if you would like to see a separate video on the apps that I use, or just on the Weight Watchers app, and then how I track my protein and kind of what I eat in a day and how I log my food, let me know and I will do that. To be honest, this week, like last week and then this past weekend was Mother's Day, I have been slacking with my tracking, and I probably have gone out to eat 4 times in the last 2 weeks, just because the weekend prior I was out at the Holland Tulip Festival. And then I was also taken out to dinner with a friend. And then I was celebrating a friend's engagement. So we went out to dinner and we had drinks and cocktails. So like yes, I haven't been tracking and I've been slacking, and I really need to get back on it. So I, in Weight Watchers, have my food to restart or reset on the day that I get my injection. So my injection days change from Tuesday to Wednesday. So tomorrow's Wednesday. So tomorrow I'm going to be getting my 6th injection. And then my whole food settings will reset. But I'll just show you what it looks like right now. So these are the rings, and you can see this day I obviously did not do very well, but you can see like the purple ring is protein, the green ring is fruits and vegetables, and then the blue ring is water. And then it kind of just like an Apple Watch, you close the rings, and then that's how you know that you gained like a point or you earned your goal or whatever you want to do it. I like to make it kind of like a reward system because I'm visually motivated, and so I like having the rings. Now, if you are just doing traditional Weight Watchers and you are not on a GLP-1 or you don't have that feature turned on, then it just looks like your standard. You got your weeklies and your dailies and how many you used. Now you can see that I used over my points. I think at this point I get 36 points in a day. I used 38 points, but I still didn't meet my protein goal. So that's not a good day. And I'm just showing you a realistic what it looks like. And then these are my macros. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, it kind of gives you your macro breakdown. So just over 1,400 calories, 22 grams of fiber, which is decent, but a lot of carbs, 141 grams of carbs and 53 grams of protein. This was not a good day for me. I did have chips and guac. I had some cilantro lime rice and some chicken. I had some corn salsa. I had some fajita veggies. I had an apple. So I had a Greek salad with grilled chicken. So those are all foods that are, yes, they are high in protein, but the rice and the tortillas and everything like that is higher in carbs. So that is something that I am trying to avoid. And I don't think you should avoid carbs. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I know my body and I know what works for my body. And what works for my body is not eating as many carbs, just really prioritizing protein, prioritizing healthy fats, and kind of taking it a step back on the carbs. That's what works for me. And I know that works for me because I've lived with my body for 31 years and I've tried every diet out there, and I can tell you lower carb just works for me. I have PCOS, I have insulin resistance. That's just how I am. That is not to say that everybody should say, okay, low carb, low carb. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. But the biggest part of this journey, if you are deciding to take a GLP-1 or you are currently taking a GLP-1, the biggest thing to really consider is what worked for me in the past and what do I know is tried and true. So even though, a lot of people that are on GLP-1s, this may be like your last resort, or it may be something totally new and your doctor just said, hey, I've noticed you're gaining weight. It's becoming an issue. Let's get you on a GLP-1. Whatever the case is, if it's new to you, if this is your last resort, last ditch effort type of thing, you have to know what works for your body. Some people do really, really well on a diet like Weight Watchers. At the end of the day, Weight Watchers is a low calorie, low fat diet. A lot of people don't thrive on a low fat, low calorie diet. I don't follow Weight Watchers to the letter, and I'm certainly not following it for the sake of, follow the Weight Watchers program, right? I'm following it because I have a really, really cheap, low, locked-in price. It gives me all the features and then some that I would get for like the paid version of MyFitnessPal. And I actually prefer Weight Watchers over MyFitnessPal and over some of the other calorie tracking, macro tracking apps that I've used in the past, like MyNet Diary and all of that. I just like it. I prefer it. I like the community tab. I love the eating out feature, like you can go to eating out, restaurants, what to eat. Every single menu item is on there. It gives you the point value. It gives you the macro breakdown. I just like it. And I've been on it for so long that I'm kind of grandfathered into a lower price per month. So for me, it's worth it. I think I pay like $9, $10 a month. It's really, really low compared to, what other people pay or maybe what new members would pay, right? So that's kind of what I use to keep track of my macros and to keep track of my calories. Like I said, the last week or two, I have been slacking. It was Mother's Day. I had a trip. I've been busy with work. I've been busy playing catch up with work. My son was sick. Now my daughter's sick. So it's just been a lot, and it's just been a lot of, that's the reality. I've been tracking consistently since April 8th, and I just kind of fell off the wagon, and that's okay. Tomorrow I get my 6th injection. Tomorrow my food reset, so I'm going to get right back to tracking tomorrow. Tomorrow I actually have to go grocery shopping and do like a quick little meal plan because I don't really have anything in my fridge right now. I need hummus, I need apples, I need chicken breast. Like there's a lot of stuff that I need. So I'm probably going to film that tomorrow. I'm going to film like my meal plan and how I break it down and how I track it and kind of how I pre-track my meals and things like that, because I think it's really beneficial to see like a guideline or a template of how people pre-track their meals and how they kind of stay protein focused, especially for GLP-1s. I just can't stress it enough. It's so, so important. I know you probably hear that everywhere, but you hear it everywhere because it's true. It's that important. You have to prioritize protein. I supplement with protein shakes. Some days, especially the first like 2 or 3 days after I get my shot, you will not be hungry. I am not hungry. I've heard from many other people that they are not hungry. It highly, highly suppresses your appetite. So the first 2 or 3 days after your injection, although your appetite is suppressed, you really have to ensure that you are prioritizing protein, and that can mean supplementing with protein shakes, protein powder, protein bars. Probably not the bars as much because you generally aren't going to get 30, 40 grams of protein in a bar. That would be very hard to do. I've never seen a bar with that amount of protein in it. I use the Fairlife Core Power Elite. Those have 42 grams of protein. Yes, they're higher in calories, but again, this is a supplement, right? I'm often having this like as my lunch with a very small portion of like fruit or carrots or cucumbers and hummus to accompany that, because my appetite's so low. So yes, it's higher in calories, but when you really look at any food, you want to look at the first 2 numbers in the calorie count, and then you want to look at the amount of protein. So let's say, for example, the calories on that protein shake, I wish I had one to show you, but the calories on the protein shake are 230 calories, 42 grams of protein. If the amount of grams of protein are greater than the first 2 numbers in the calorie count, you know it's a high protein item. So for example, if I pick up I'm trying to think of a good example. If I pick up a protein shake and it's 230 calories, but it's only 10 grams of protein. I mean, that's clearly a very extreme example, but you know, because the amount of protein, that number is not greater than the first 2 numbers in the calorie count, you know it's not a high protein choice. Or it is, but it could be a lot better, right? The nutritional bang for your buck could be a lot better. So the 23, which is the number that we were looking for, if an item was 230 calories, we would want it to have 23 grams or greater of protein in order for it to be considered a very high protein food, right? So the Fairlife Core Power Elite, 230 calories, 42 grams of protein. It is a great protein bang for your buck. So, one thing that I wanted to touch on is if you are considering a GLP-1, and what I have known in my journey is supplements. I have taken supplements before I started a GLP-1 because I'm vitamin D deficient, which most people where I live in Michigan, most people in Michigan are vitamin D deficient. We don't get as much sun year round. Um, but magnesium is also an extremely important supplement. This is the magnesium I take. So there's two different types of magnesium. This is magnesium citrate. This is the one that you want to look for. Obviously, I'm not a doctor. Please don't take any of my advice as gospel. Please consult with your doctor. But I'm just letting you know from my research and my own experience, this is what I take. It is the maximum absorption. It's Nobi Nutrition. Boop. And it's the magnesium citrate, 500 milligrams. So magnesium is so important for a variety of things. But number one, it is very important for regularity. Magnesium helps your muscles to relax. Magnesium aids in your bone and nerve health, and magnesium aids in your stress. Me personally, I see a huge reduction in my stress when I take magnesium on a regular basis. Cortisol is the hormone that is raised when we're under stress, right? Cortisol is what you hear a lot of people talk. I feel like it's a very hot topic right now. People talking about like cortisol addiction and cortisol puffiness and all of that. So magnesium, I believe, helps with that. I know there's research behind magnesium helping stress levels and helping you to relax. A lot of people take it at night with their nighttime supplement regimen. That's what I personally do. But the biggest thing for me as it relates to GLP-1s is magnesium helps with regularity. Magnesium helps your muscles to relax, and it helps to combat constipation. When you are on a GLP-1, personally for me, I am prone to constipation, so I knew that I was going to suffer from constipation because that is a side effect, and I have. Magnesium has helped me with that significantly. The next supplement that I take, and I've been taking these long before I started a GLP-1. You may have seen these. It is the ZenWise digestive enzymes with fast-acting probiotics. These I take before every meal. I take one if it's just a regular run-of-the-mill like meal. It's very balanced. You've got your protein, you've got your carbs, you've got your healthy fats. If I am indulging, if I am eating out, if I am eating anything that's like fattier or more greasy, I take 2 or 3 of these. It says right on the container, take 1 capsule immediately before any meal. Please follow these directions. Don't do what I do. I'm not recommending you take more than 1. I just take more than 1 because I feel that that's what works. I get these on Amazon. Some Walmart sell them as well. These work. They make me feel I don't feel bloated after I eat, I guess is the best way to describe it. So prior to starting a GLP-1, I would be bloated all the time. Like I would constantly make comments like, oh, I look like I'm pregnant again, because after every meal, I would literally balloon up. Like I looked as if I was pregnant again, right? And I hated it. I hated looking that way. I hated feeling that way. Like who wants to feel uncomfortable? I would literally be wearing an outfit, and then after I would have a meal, I would notice, oh my gosh, like my pants feel tight. Like everything feels tight. Everything feels snug. I hated it, right? So I think, everybody has to consult your physician. Don't take my advice as gospel. I'm always going to say that. I am not a doctor, but I think everybody really needs to look into kind of revamping their supplement regimen when they know that they're going to start a GLP-1. Or if you are on a GLP-1 currently, maybe look at the supplements that you're taking and ensure that you're getting a probiotic, you're taking your magnesium. I personally take fish oil for healthy fats and omega-3s. I take CoQ10 for my heart because I do have a family history of heart disease. So CoQ10 is extremely healthy for your heart. Even my cardiologist told me to take CoQ10. So the next thing that I take that is strictly, relevant to a GLP-1, and this is new, I purchased this after beginning a GLP-1, is a probiotic. So this is the Floragen probiotic. It's digestion for antibiotic side effects. I didn't get this because I was on an antibiotic. I got this because I was starting a GLP-1. If you are starting a GLP-1, and even if you're not on a GLP-1, to be honest, a probiotic is a very important step in your supplement regimen. You need a probiotic because gut health and weight loss go hand in hand. If you are struggling with your gut health, you will see that reflected on the scale. I know I did, and I still do, right? Because I've been, like I said, I don't really drink. I'm not a big drinker, but I have been going out for more special occasions, and I have been having more cocktails. And because of that, my gut health is thrown off, right? And so I've been taking my probiotics, and I've been taking my digestive enzymes, and I've been taking my magnesium, and I do feel like that is helping to combat some of those side effects that I would otherwise be experiencing from eating out and drinking if I had not been taking those. Moving on. So if you do not have a water bottle, it does not need to be a Stanley. It can be any tumbler. Get yourself a water bottle. Get yourself a water bottle. Get yourself a water bottle for the environment, because why are we drinking plastic water bottles and wasting them and blah, 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 blah. Not going to get into it. Get yourself a water bottle for convenience. Take it with you. You don't have to pack a ton of plastic water bottles. You don't have to stop at a convenience store or a gas station. Oh, I'm out of water. I'm out of water. Get a water bottle. Get a reusable water bottle. Preferably one that's stainless steel that keeps your ice cold and everything like that. Get a water bottle. Drink your water. When you are on a GLP-1, you are inevitably going to have a reduced appetite if it's doing what it is supposed to do. A GLP-1 is an appetite suppressant. It suppresses your appetite, sometimes for me, to the point where I have no desire to eat at all. And when we're not eating, we're losing electrolytes. You need to stay hydrated and to replenish yourself. You can try an electrolyte powder. Like, I know Element is a really, really popular one that I hear about on YouTube all the time. What's the other one? They sell them at Costco. There's another one that they sell, but I mean, you can go through the list. I mean, you can purchase an electrolyte powder if you choose to. Even when I was doing intermittent fasting, so during the pandemic, I heavily got into keto and intermittent fasting. And I would put a sprinkle of sea salt or Himalayan salt and a squeeze of lemon in my water, and that was my electrolyte. I am here to tell you that not everything that's hyped up needs to be hyped up. Not everything that costs extra money is necessary. Like, I think Himalayan salt and a squeeze of lemon did me just fine as like a pack of Element would. If Element would like to prove me wrong and to send me some free product for me to try it, I would be more than happy to try it, and maybe I'll fall in love with it. But I will just say, oh, Liquid IV, that's the other one. Like Liquid IV, I tried from Costco. Wasn't happy. My computer will randomly go black. It's so strange. If you have a MacBook and your computer just randomly goes black, let me know why. That was very random. But Liquid IV, I tried from Costco, wasn't impressed, didn't like the taste. I mean, I know it's going to be salty, but it wasn't good. But yeah, I'd be willing to try Element. I will not go out and purchase it because I don't necessarily think that it's necessary, but I'd love to be proven wrong. If you guys take an electrolyte drink mix, let me know which one you take, and I'd be more than happy to try it out. I'm not opposed to it. Electrolytes are very, very important. I just don't necessarily think you need to go out and spend extra money on every single thing that's hyped up online, right? So the last thing that I will say in terms of taking a GLP-1 and things that I have done to kind of aid in my success is I have not weighed myself every day. And I know that may be a hot take. I know a lot of people that are on GLP-1s who talk about weighing themselves every day. I know a lot of people on YouTube talk about weighing themselves every day. However, I don't weigh myself every day. I just don't. Because women, especially, our weight does this. Me, I'm somebody who, if I had a stressful day, if I had a shitty night's sleep, if I, you know, if I don't know, like if I sat in the car for an extra 30 minutes in traffic, because I have an hour commute to and from work. So if I sat in the car an extra 30 minutes in traffic, if I ate something that was higher in sodium, whatever the case may be, it is not uncommon for me to be up like 3 to 4 pounds in a matter of 1 to 2 days. And I know that it's inflammation. I retain water very easily. A great example of that is right before I started GLP-1. So I weighed in on April 8th, the day that I had my first injection of Tirzepatide. 4 days before that, I weighed in. And between the day I started the GLP-1 and 4 days prior, I had gained 5 pounds. Now, was that 5 pounds of fat? No. Was that 5 pounds of probably water retention? Yes. So I don't weigh myself every day because psychologically, it is not good for me. You do what's good for you. Psychologically, it is not good for me. Me doing my weekly weigh-ins, me doing my weekly check-ins with my health coach are very beneficial to me, especially when I'm doing them on the InBody. I'm going to show you the InBody app. If you have a gym near you that does InBodies, I would highly suggest calling them, even if you're not a member of that gym, and asking them, hey, how much do you charge for me to just pop in and go on the InBody and kind of, get a printout or see where things are? Because they do print out a sheet that gives you all of your details. But they also have an app, and it looks like this. This is the InBody app. And as you can see, this is my lean muscle mass, and it has everything, literally everything. Your trunk, your right arm, your left leg, your right leg, the percentages that break down from that. That's my lean mass. Now I can switch to body fat, and then it will tell me the percentages for body fat. It has muscle fat analysis. Let me see if I can get a photo of what it actually looks like. So this right here, and I'm going to cover up my weight because I'm going to say that at the very end, but this one right here gives you a breakdown. So this is from the time that I started using the InBody, because I did go to options in October, and I had to use the InBody there. And this tracks the data from the very first time I weighed in on an InBody. So I did Options Medical Weight Loss before I did one of their other programs. It wasn't a GLP-1 program, and I'll talk about that in another video. But so I used the InBody on that day. And it gives you such a great, it gives you graph points of every single thing. InBody score, your basal metabolic rate, it measures that every time, your weight, your skeletal muscle mass, your body fat mass, your BMI, your body fat percentage, visceral fat levels. I mean, you can go on and on and on. It is a great tool. Now, if you don't have access to an InBody or a facility that has an InBody, there is something that you can get in your home, and it's called the Hume Health Scale. No, this is not sponsored. Yes, Hume Health, sponsor me if you would like to. Hume Health is a scale that I purchased on my own with my own money, and I had not heard of it. It was something that I researched online, and then I started hearing YouTubers, bring it up. But I have it on my own, and I have it because I wanted something to replace the InBody. When I stopped going to Options Clinic the first time around, I thought, okay, well, I want something to replace what the InBody does. And so I purchased the Hume Health Scale. And it basically gives you all those same figures. Is it as accurate? Maybe. I don't think so, but it's very, very accurate. For an at-home body analyzer, which is what it is, it's not just a scale, it's a body analyzer. For an at-home body analyzer, it is very accurate. I will say that. So those are kind of some of the things that I did in my first month taking Tirzepatide. I tracked my food. I prioritized protein. I drank my water. I went over the supplements. And I did not weigh myself every day. These are the things that worked for me. So my very first month on Tirzepatide, on April 8th of 2025, so last month, I weighed in on the InBody at Options as 268.9 pounds. Let me double check that. I know that's probably true, but I just want to like triple check that that is the case. So yes, 268.9 pounds is what I weighed in at. And that was, after having retained a ton of water. I went into the clinic that day. I felt bloated. I could feel it. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to weigh. Because like I said, 4 days prior, I had weighed myself and I was down 5 pounds from that. So I think it was like 263 something. So I had gained like 4 to 5 pounds of water because I was just retaining water. So I was very bloated, very puffy. So that was April 8th, 2025, the day of my first injection. That is what I weighed in as. And my last injection, which was last week, Thursday, you can see here, I weighed in at 252.8. So 252.8 is what I weighed in at my the date of my 5th injection. So in 1 month, I lost just over 16 pounds. And that is crazy. That's a ton of weight. And that's not anything that I expected. Like, I expected to lose 10 to 12 pounds based on my size, because the bigger you are, the more weight you're going to lose initially, based on what I had heard other people, like other YouTubers who talk about their GLP-1 journeys. I've heard them talk about, I lost 10 pounds in the first month. So I thought 10 to 12 pounds was a realistic number for me. Nowhere in my mind did I think 16 pounds was going to happen. Now, I will say that I go into the clinic again tomorrow to get my 6th injection, and I am titrating up. So I have been at 2.5. So the 16 pounds that I lost was on 2.5 milligrams. I have been at 2.5 for 5 weeks. This past week, which was my 5th week, is the first time since being on the GLP-1 that I have felt hunger return to basically normal, and I have felt cravings and food noise return. I had cravings for dessert. I had cravings for pizza. I had cravings for chips and guac and all the things. That is what I lived with and what I experienced prior to starting my GLP-1 journey, okay? So I will tell you now that I know in my mind it is time to move up to the 5 milligram. Am I scared? Absolutely. I don't know what to expect. I've heard horror stories. Oh my God, you're going to have symptoms. Oh my God, you're going to have side effects. You're going to have X, Y, and Z. It's going to be horrible. It's going to be horrible. Be prepared. Pack an extra pair of underwear with you everywhere you go, like to that level, right? I don't know what to expect. I'm going into it with an open mind. I have prayed on it a lot. And, the whole reason I started taking a GLP-1 was because I felt like I prayed on it and I meditated on it, and I felt like God said, okay, it's time. You can start. It's time. Because I had been thinking about it for over a year. And I just kept feeling like, oh, what if I get side effects? What if I get sick? I can't afford to be out of commission, right? I have 2 kids. I work full time. It's absolutely not possible for me to be in bed with cramps, in the ER with stomach pains, with pancreatitis, all the horror stories. I can't do it. I can't risk it. So I thought long and hard, and I prayed and prayed and prayed, and I finally felt like God was telling me, okay, you can go ahead and do it now. I do that basically before every decision I make in life. That's kind of where I'm at. And what I've learned is I pray on it. And if I don't have peace about a decision, I don't move forward. So I encourage you and I urge you to think about it, to pray on it. If you don't have peace about something, don't move forward. I personally do not regret my decision starting in GLP-1. Now, I've only taken it for 5 months. Who's to say where I'll be in 8 months, 10 or 5 weeks? I've only taken it for 5 weeks. Who's to say where I'll be in 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 12 weeks? Who's to say? I don't know. All I can tell you is I don't regret my decision. I notice a big difference in the way my clothes are fitting. Some of the old clothes that I had that I was able to wear prior to getting pregnant with my son, I can now wear again. Some of the clothes that I had when I was 230 pounds back during the pandemic days, I lost a ton of weight, right? And so when I was like 230s, like low 230s, some of those clothes are starting to feel like more realistic. Like, oh, I can get into this again. Where I used to think, oh my God, might as well throw it out. Never will get back into it. Throw it out. Get it out of sight, out of mind. So, I'm feeling good. Am I feeling like, woo, more energy all the time? No. I don't necessarily attribute that to the GLP-1. I attribute that to my lifestyle. I work a lot. I don't get a ton of sleep at night. I'm working on it. I do think the GLP-1 or the Tirzepatide, I keep saying GLP-1, the Tirzepatide is giving me fatigue as a side effect. Fatigue and constipation are honestly the only two side effects that I've had. And I'm very, very thankful for that. And I thank God every day, thank you, that I didn't have debilitating stomach pain today and that this medication is working for me. Like I said, this past week, so week 5 is the first week that I have not experienced the appetite suppression in the way I was experiencing it previously. This is the first week that I have had the food noise return. Not full force, but it has returned to an extent. I am thinking about food more. I am having more cravings. And I think a lot of that has to do with I just didn't plan this week. I didn't meal prep this week. And that is very true. What people say, if you do not meal prep and you don't have some sort of plan and you don't have grab and go food that is a part of your calorie range and a part of your protein goals ready to go, you're going to get hungry. I mean, I'm not eating all day long, but it's very common for me to skip breakfast, to skip lunch, to go all day without eating, and then I'm starving come the end of the night, and I'm like, ooh, give me the chips, give me the guac, give me the pizza, So that has returned. Part of it is my fault, but I also know that the medication is not doing what it used to do, and I think it is time to titrate up. So with that said, tomorrow I am going to be getting my 6th injection and beginning week 6, and I'm going to be getting 5 milligrams for the first time. Praying that it goes well. I do have peace about it, so I am going to move forward with that decision to move up to the 5 milligrams. I will keep you guys updated. If you guys watch any of my shorts, I'll keep you updated there. I'll do another sit down full length video like this. Again, I am trying to build my channel because I am trying to get my story of how God has changed my life out there. This is one of the biggest ways is I feel like my weight is something I've been struggling with my whole life. And I feel like now I'm finally seeing results and I'm finally feeling like this is actually happening, right? Like this is actually working where so many times I've tried and only lost 5 to 10 pounds. I've tried and I've lost 10 to 15 pounds and then I've gained it back or something's happened or I got pregnant or whatever, right? So, with that said, I am going to do another sit down video. I am going to go over, week by week is my plan. But if you guys want to see my meal planning and my meal prepping and kind of my grocery list or a grocery haul and me entering it into the app and showing you the macros for everything, let me know. If you want me to do a week by week sit down, okay, week 6 went like this. Here's my side effects. Here's my weight loss. Here's my updates on 5 milligrams. Let me know, because this channel is ultimately a creative outlet for me, but it's ultimately to share information with you and to spread as much joy and just letting you guys know, what God's doing in my life and how this medication is working for me, and to just give another perspective of somebody who's taking a GLP-1 Tirzepatide, because I know it's a very hot topic right now. I know tons of people are talking about it, considering it. So I would just say, please please subscribe, so that I can keep this channel going and I can feel like people actually want to hear more and want to see more. To those of you that have already commented, I've gotten a couple comments on my videos already. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I love the back and forth. I want to build a community. Just let me know. I've done a couple of shorts, just kind of uploading things like what I'm wearing and where I'm shopping, because I do want people that are in a plus size body to feel like I can shop at places that aren't just plus size retailers, and I can find things for me, right? That's something that I'm also very passionate about, that I enjoy, but that's not ultimately what I created this channel for. However, that is content that I would like to share. So please let me know what you think. Please comment, please subscribe. I would love to get more subscribers so I can start feeling as though I'm building a community and I'm reaching people. And like I said, keep an eye out for my shorts. I upload at least one short a day, and I will be uploading a short tomorrow right after I get my injection. So have a great night. Thank you.